Hi guys, Tim here doing another militaria review, and this time it is going to be on the history of the D-Day landings, the most important, crucial bit of the Second World War by the Americans and British standards, and the Canadians standards. Now what I've got here is my granddad's original Normandy service medal, with badge. It actually says Normandy at the top, and it says here Normandy, June 6th, 1944 to August 20th, 1944, right there. And this was actually given to him after the battle. Oops. See now, Normandy campaign, or the D-Day landings, or the operation known as Operation Overlord, was planned by Sir Winston Churchill, George S. Patton, on, and some of the more higher, a lot of officers and generals and staff, on Monday the 5th of June 1944 to plan for the next day, which they did, and they wanted to literally get into France and push the enemy Germans right back into Berlin, and which the Russians will be waiting, which they finally did in April 1945. Sorry about that. Oh, pardon me. So yeah. So on Tuesday, the 6th of June, 1944, at 6:30, the first land craft hit the beach of Normandy. Now there were 5 beaches. There were Omaha, Utah, Sword, Juneau, and Gold. The Americans attacked at Omaha and Utah. Of course, they landed at the beach at 7:30. Sorry, not 7:30, 6:30. Sorry. Then the British at Sword and Juneau at 7:30 they landed. The Canadians with them actually at Gold at around 7:30, 7:45. And there were 5 pillboxes to each one beach, containing the Germans, who of course were defending the beaches, heavily defending the beaches. And there was one American commando unit who hit the beach and actually scaled up this long foot cliff to get at this massive German gun emplacement, which they went there about an hour earlier at 5:30 at Omaha, and that was called Point de Hoc. Which the place was Point de Hoc, where they needed to capture the gun, which sadly it was moved by the Germans because they were very smart. So yes, now in the whole of the D-Day landings it was 55,000 servicemen. Now the whole of it died, all of it. And that was a lot back in the Second World War. Oh, pardon me. Which I will splice on a picture of the D-Day landings in Normandy and Operation Overlord and all that. So yeah, the mission was, the objective was to encircle the Germans around, to actually really get at them and really encircle them. And there's a lot of a lot of American paratroopers and British paratroopers and British and American servicemen actually needed to capture this bridge called Pegasus Bridge, which was the stronghold from actually main France to Normandy, which the Germans heavily defended well. Which my granddad actually was one of the men to help the Americans within the British battalion, the 5th Wiltshire's battalion he was in, went over Pegasus Bridge. And so yeah, back to topic. So Winston Churchill was actually planning on to actually go over with the men, but of course the day came and he saw what it was like, or not saw, he heard on the radio what it was like from his peers, and he didn't really want to go over. So yeah. Also, when they were encircling, they had to go through, which my granddad was at, called Hill 112, which was the 21st Panzer Division and the Waffen SS, snipers, riflemen, some machine gunmen, German, basically mainly the German army, actually holding the beaches and holding this little mini cornfield. So you have the base of the ridge, they have this sloping cornfield like that, which I will splice in a picture of, and that's called, well, Hill 112, as it was known as. And it was basically, that was where my granddad first shot a German sniper straight between the eyes in that massive cornfield, because the cornfield was about that high, my granddad was about that high, just walking through them. So, oh. So yeah. So when they did actually succeed to close the Germans around this gap at about, around about 10:45, known as the Falaise Gap, which I will splice in a picture of. It's basically just the crossroads like that. The Germans literally huddled together like that, and we coming right round the outside to the British and Americans and Canadians, and some French actually as well. Some French, as I did mention. Oh, sorry about that. Sorry. And yes, it was. It cost a heck of a lot of lives, as I said. 55,000 troops. Thousands of troops actually. A lot of airborne division. And yes, and when we actually reached France, we actually celebrated. So yeah, that has been the history of, well, not the total history, but a little bit of the history of the D-Day landings, Operation Overlord, the Normandy campaign. Yeah. See ya, bye. Merry Christmas.